And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Luis Patino, the Senior Vice President of Univision Television Group.
Good evening. Thank you, Jim. And thank you to the National Association of Hispanic Journalists for hosting your conference here in San Antonio. I think it's very fitting that you host your conference in the home of where Spanish language media first started, both television, radio, and print. And of course, thank you to the San Antonio Association of Hispanic Journalists for giving me this honor. A real privilege. It's a real privilege this evening to pay tribute to a phenomenal public servant in our community and in our country. Tonight, we honor Mr. Henry Cisneros with the 2014 Community Service Award. Where does one begin to mention all of Henry's enormous accomplishments? The first Hispanic mayor of a major U.S. city here in San Antonio, Texas. Mentor to Mayor and now Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro. A mentor to many, but it was in 1997 when I first had the opportunity and privilege to meet Henry when he was the president and COO of Univision Communications. It was in a meeting in San Francisco when Henry visited our offices and had the opportunity to talk to our entire staff. And it was there where he reminded us what Univision and what many media companies are all about. And that's community. It's community service, it's civic engagement, it's empowerment of our people, giving them a voice. And it reminded me of why a company like Univision even first started. Those of you that know some of the founding fathers of our company, you know that it started to give a voice right here in San Antonio to the people that did not have a voice in 1955. So we thank you, Henry, for all that you have done, for all of those people that you have mentored and will continue to mentor. And I think it goes without saying that without people like you, this country and our cities and definitely our media companies would not be as powerful as they are now in this day and age. Thank you so much. And now I'd like for everybody to turn to the screen where we have a wonderful tribute for Henry.
Henry Cisneros served as the first Hispanic mayor of a major American city and in the cabinet of President Bill Clinton. He has been a businessman, developer, and author. He has been called an urban innovator. But at heart, Henry has been a San Antonian whose West Side roots have taken him from Central Catholic High School to Texas A&M University, Harvard, and George Washington Universities, and honorary degrees from more than 20 institutions of higher learning. Cisneros began his public service career on San Antonio City Council, serving 3 terms from 1975 to 1981 when he won his first term as mayor.
Well, first of all, I've known Henry for a very long time. When he first ran for mayor in 1981, I supported him, and he became the first Hispanic mayor of a city that's over 500,000 people. He did a marvelous job of running the city. It's been a privilege to have him as a great friend, and San Antonio would not be the place it is today without Henry. When Henry first came into office, he made job creation a #1 project. The city never did anything on that before. He took care of a lot of tremendous inner city projects, from bonds for streets and roads and sewer, flooding. He made a significant difference in the life of San Antonio, and just so pleased that he's getting this recognition.
His administration ushered in a phase of downtown development and urban renewal, and the scholarly study, America's Mayors, the American Mayor, ranked him as one of the 15 best mayors in the nation.
So Henry Cisneros has been the most instrumental human being and citizen of this city, because when he took on his role of giving, he just never stopped. It was not the immediate area around him. It was the bigger picture. So we have Toyota here. We have other companies that have come in because he has helped. And he has helped lead when he's had to. He has gone to Mexico and been the voice for the mayor here and for the county judge. And he always does it with such eloquence and such elegance. I used to jokingly call him El Catrín because he was always so put together and he always articulated a message so well. And I think his heart and his intellectual capacity showed an aptitude that could only be great things for this city. So we should be extremely thankful to Henry Cisneros for all that he's done and for all that I know he will still continue to do for San Antonio.
As Secretary of HUD, Henry started revitalization programs in public housing developments and formulated policies that helped achieve the nation's highest ever rate of home ownership. After his tenure at HUD, he went on to serve as president and CEO of Univision. He is now executive chairman of CityView Companies.
Henry Cisneros has given so much to our city. He and his family have sacrificed for many, many years, and what they have brought to our community is renewed hope about our future to be a modern global city. And Henry continues to give back in so many ways, and I'm very proud to call him a friend, a mentor, a big brother, but someone that inspires us every day and makes us hope for what's possible that can be better for our city economically, culturally, and gives us great pride in being Hispanic.
He continues to live on the city's west side, where he and his wife, former City Councilwoman Mariela Cisneros, have founded two of San Antonio's nonprofits, American Sunrise and the Cisneros Center.
Well, congratulations, Henry. Delighted that you're getting this recognition.
Henry, muchísimas gracias por todo lo que nos has dado para San Antonio, para nuestras familias, la inspiración que nos has proveído como una comunidad hispana.
Henry, congratulations from the bottom of my heart. There is no one more deserving than you to receive this award and from this organization. Gracias, hermano, y sigue adelante.
Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, El Catrín, Mr. Henry Cisneros.
Luis, thank you very much. Jim, Francisco Vara Horta, President. Thank you to, I'm very happy to say it, Secretary Castro. Congressman Castro. And I'm very happy to say it, Mayor Ivy Taylor. Let me just say, San Antonio has been a city of many breakthroughs on many fronts, but on the political front, Lila Cockrell was the first woman mayor of a major American city. I was credited with breaking ground with respect to a Latino mayor of a major city. But I did some research this week because PolitiFact called me in order to confirm something that I had said in the press about 10 days ago. And they had done some research to determine whether, in fact, San Antonio was the largest city in the country ever to have an African-American woman mayor. They checked it out, and it's absolutely true. San Antonio. Mayor, please stand and let us recognize you. So, it has to say, this is a very progressive, very foresighted city to accomplish all those things. And there are many more accomplishments yet to come. And I know some of you here will look forward to the day when we have our first Latina mayor of San Antonio as well. I know that day will come. Senator Leticia Van de Pew is here, and we'll have our first Latina Lieutenant Governor of Texas. Where is she? And I want to just take a moment of personal privilege and recognize a few individuals, if I may. The king of Chicano music, the founder, the creator of the Chicano national anthem, Little Joe Hernandez, is with us tonight, and I want to recognize Little Joe, wherever he is. Back over there. My fellow honorees tonight, Robert Rodriguez, whose movies I have enjoyed for years, but now I'm pleased to say has an entire channel devoted to him on Univision. Robert, congratulations and good luck this evening. And John Quiñones, who I remember when he was on radio here in San Antonio, and I used to interview with him as a city council member years ago, and then he steadily climbed the ladder to the network television, and now he has his own program, which asks America, what would you do in this circumstance? You know, there's that some people wear a little armband that says, what would Jesus do? I think the country these days is asking, what would John do? I do want to also thank everybody who's responsible for putting this together. Marta Tijerina and Melissa Aguillon, and very importantly, my neighbor on the west side, who sort of embodies the idea of how Latino journalists can be different because they have a deep perspective of the community and bring their lifelong sensibilities, and that is Elaine Ayala. Elaine, thank you so much for what you do. And of course, I want to recognize my family members who are here, principally my wife and former city councilwoman, Mary Alice Cisneros, who is seated right over here, without whom none of the things that I have been able to do would be possible, because we've been a team since we first met at 14 and 12 years of age over at Sacred Heart Church on the west side, and then over all of these years. And I want to introduce, I can't introduce him, but I can at least call him out, and that is my brother, who was in the room tonight wearing lights and a drum. That Urban 15 group is led by my brother George Cisneros and his wife Kat, and they do a great job in our city. Let me just, if I may, very briefly, because I know we want to get through all of the honorees, but express my appreciation, deep appreciation to all of you for the careers that you have chosen, and specifically for this association, the San Antonio Association of Hispanic Journalists. It is a first of its own kind, I would say the most robust association in any city of Hispanic journalists, and that's in keeping, as has already been said, with the fact that we had the first Spanish radio station, the first Spanish television station, which became the building block of the Univision system. Luis, thank you for the job you're doing here now. But so many other firsts for San Antonio. Here was founded the first Hispanic Chamber of Commerce 80 years ago. And here was founded Southwest Voter Registration and Education Project. And here was founded the Mexican American Legal Defense and Education Fund. And here was founded HACU, the Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities. And here was founded Avance. And here was founded COPS, which became the building block for the whole Industrial Areas Foundation across the Southwest. And today we see the good work of a program like Acción, which is the first of its kind, city-based. So on so many fronts, San Antonio has been an incubator of Latino organizations and talent. And this association is proof of it, because here have been nurtured many careers and many talents of people who've been able to build here like John and Robert have done, and go on to national careers and national impact. Let me just say very briefly my own kind of origins of respect for what you do. I think it starts with my family, because my grandfather and uncle were printers. In fact, my grandfather was a printer in Mexico during the Revolution, at a time when that was the only way to get political material published, was the printers played that role. And then he came to the United States and formed one of the larger printing companies. And I think I learned from them that you must respect the people who buy ink by the barrel. I mean, if you're in politics, these are people who are due respect. And in fact, those men had ink in their veins, and they were addicted to publications of neighborhood newspapers, the Catholic newspaper, and involvement in the published printed life of San Antonio. My own personal association with a Hispanic journalist, which had a lot to do with my beginnings in public service, was an institution called the West Side Sun that was a subsidiary of the Express News. And its publisher was a man named Manuel Ruiz Ibanez, who was a fixture at the Express News for many years. Decent, humble man. And he was the first one who began to chronicle the things that I was doing as an aspiring council member and taught me a sense of how you relate to the community through the press. Simple fact, if you're in public life, you have to reach the public, and the way you reach the public is through the organs of the press. Print, very important. Television, very important. Radio, now internet. And always, in all of those years, there were people who cared about the community who were Hispanic journalists. I'm talking about Marta Tijerina at KWEX, and Mateo Camargo at KCOR, and of course many people who worked in English radio who were Latinos, like John Quiñones, and gave people a shot to get their message out. Obviously, I would not have been able to come up in local politics but for Latino journalists. In many ways, we came up together, and though many of you are younger, I feel like I came up with the association because it was founded in that era and has been so responsible for nurturing professional development and talent. I had the great good fortune after serving at HUD of being recruited to be the president of Univision, in great measure because of my background in San Antonio. Moved to Los Angeles and spent 4 years as president of the company and learned something about Hispanic journalism from the inside. And I learned that people were very dedicated, very smart, very committed to their craft, managing new technologies, developing new lines, like, for example, the online company we created in that era. But over the years, let me just say in summary, I came to several recognitions through all of these experiences. One of them is that it is important that we have in our society people who bring the special perspective of their roots to the larger picture of public information, of public knowledge, of public dissemination of information. And that's the importance of the Latino perspective. As I said a moment ago, when you have someone who lives at the corner of Buena Vista and Spring Street on the west side, like Elena Ayala, she brings a different perspective that counts in that newsroom as those of you who work in Spanish or in English media do. Secondly, it's very important that Latino journalists support each other so that people are promoted up the line, so that some of the arbitrary calls about who gets assignments and whether a story is valid and how a person proceeds from the line to editorial posts and so forth occurs. So just the collaboration, the networking, the career progressions is an important part of this effort. And finally, let me just say, I've come to the recognition that I may not have had before about the importance of information, substance, content in our world. It is not a sidelight. It's not an interesting form of entertainment. It is core to the way we live today and inform our society. Content is king, I learned at Univision. And Latino journalists are part of the system that brings us content that shapes our lives in profound ways. So I congratulate you on what you represent, the careers you have chosen, the professions you have developed, and I thank you for this generous honor tonight. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Henry, and thank you, Luis.